Hello, my spooky friends. This is John, your host of Dairyland Frights in the spookier podcast, Nightland Frights. And I wanted to thank all my spooky friends out there for listening. I truly appreciate it. Please like and subscribe and rate us 5 stars. It helps me make this a better podcast. And make sure you comment what guests you would like me to have on, what topics you would like me to talk about. It's only going to make this podcast better. So again, thank you so much for listening. And please go to my Patreon. Check that out. Become a Parascani for only $3, a spooky friend for $1. And remember, stay spooky. Hello, my spooky friends. I'm John, your host, and welcome to another episode of Dairyland Frights, the paranormal podcast that covers everything creepy and mysterious in the Midwest and beyond. Because today I have, again, I always say this, ladies, but I am truly blessed to have great guests on all the time. I've never had a dud, so you guys can't be duds.
Great.
I was going to be a dud.
No pressure. But on the podcast today, I have Rachel and Kim from their podcast, Ghost, I guess. Welcome.
I like it. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
We're really happy to be here.
Yes, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. So let's just get right into it. I've listened to your episodes, most of them, and your podcasts and everything. So tell me a little bit about why you wanted to start a podcast and why paranormal.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for having us. Though exciting to hear someone reach out and say you heard our podcast, you wanted to chat, and we were listening to your stuff and thinking this is just a great mix. You know how it started, John? Rachel and I were drunk on my couch and talked
exactly right.
Yeah, yes. We were talking spooky stuff for like the 40th time, and then we're like, we need to record this. People need to hear this. And you know how when you're drunk and you think everything you say is gold? That's
I think I said, we're so delightful. So we already have that. Like it just comes with the package. So let's just do it.
I think it's kind of a cool niche for us because I always get caught up in this idea of everybody wants to talk about ghost stories. But you never know when you're in a safe space to do it. And I really wanted to talk about this stuff as Rachel calls me a skeptic, and I kind of am, but I'm also a believer. And I wanted to talk about it as just like a regular Joe. Like I'm just a regular person with a regular job. I'm not like into all this crazy stuff. And I'm still having these experiences. And I just wanted to hear people, what they have to say about it and what's going on that we're all hearing the same kind of thing. And that's where it really, that was the thread that we wanted to weave throughout all of our episodes.
Absolutely. Rachel, how about you?
Yeah, I think that I've always really enjoyed getting told spooky stories. That moment when someone's telling you something and you're just like, whoa, that's weird. I couldn't possibly explain that. Or like, stop, too scary. But yeah, I think, knowing that we could essentially be doing what we were already doing and have the opportunity to talk to other people who've had experiences. I mean, we had a medium on that was really, really cool talking to him, and even changed our perceptions of what we thought was what a ghost was, what a spirit was. We were pretty sure we had an idea of what it was. And then we talked to him. It completely changes everything. Yeah, I just thought it would be really a fun thing to do with my friend, and to also look more into the paranormal and have conversations about it.
And we're busy people. We're all busy people. So this is our chance to just talk and chill. We're making scheduled time to actually connect with each other. And that's important too, because I love my girl, Rachel. Fair enough.
Yes. And for my spooky friends out there, they're Canadians, and I love my Canadians, because they're just like us.
We're friendly
just
people.
Like us. We both have weird accents. We all like Rush. That's one of my favorite bands, Rush. I know they're done now, but Neil Peart was one of my favorite drummers of all time.
There you go.
Come on. You know, you
Yeah.
got a lot
Hockey.
Yeah.
of cheese here. Look at us.
Yeah.
We're all friends.
We belong together.
You know what the funny thing about us too? We all share the same or virtually the same type of ghost stories, right? We all have
Yes.
a
Yep.
rich history in our countries, right? Some aren't the greatest, some wars, some murders, some serial killers, some, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like you tell a different ghost story than I tell a different ghost story. There might be places, time, change, but in general, it's the same, right? It's scary, right? It makes you, if it's not scary, then it makes you go, huh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. I've never heard that before. But in general, it's the same. And that's what I love
Yeah.
too, because I've talked to people from Norway, from the UK, and they'll tell me the same thing. It's almost the same story. It's not that much of a difference other than places, right? And, you know, history's a little bit more here or there, but in general, it's kind of the same thing, right?
And,
Would you guys
and the
agree with
cultural
that?
influences. And Rachel and
Yeah.
I just recorded a podcast that really highlighted this, and it was about sleep paralysis. And where I'm from in Newfoundland, it's called an old hag. And I was digging into the research, and everybody has the same experience, but they have these different cultural influences that weave into it. And it's kind of neat to explore those.
And I think
It
if
is.
anything, that's why I'm not I think I'm less of a skeptic, because even if I wanted to say that it has something to do with like people just wanting some comfort at that, you know, when you die, it's not the end and there's something in the afterlife. And I'm sure that's what people could say. At the same time, as you've just said, like so many people all over the world seem to have the same stories.
Yeah.
So it's either mass hysteria, which I don't want to believe is, or there is something to it. So I think that's definitely something to consider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Kim, I'm going to start with you. When was your first paranormal experience and what was it like?
My very first?
Yeah.
First.
I don't
know.
even
Go
know.
way,
I
way.
do know. We recorded
All right.
this one. It was, I had an NDE, a near-death experience.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
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 But I don't remember it. It was told to me. So I was basically we lived in a small town and I was very young and I couldn't swim, but I was at the bottom of a water slide and hanging off the side of the water slide. And I guess my mom was busy or something.
Sure.
Just, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, we were born in the 80s. Parents had other, we're not going to hold that against
They had other things going on. But I guess a big gush of water came down the water slide and it whisked me away from the side.
Yeah.
And my mom tells me that she found me just kind of like floating with my hair and like pulled me out.
Ooh.
And I guess I started talking about really creepy things about like the man I saw in the water.
Ooh.
And he told me that I had to go back to my mom and she needed me. And I was like doing all this. And it was the most interesting thing is how young I was when I was talking about all of this stuff, like seeing a man in the water and having him tell me to come back to my mom. And she was very clearly spooked about that as well. Wish I could remember it. Have no recollection of it, but it started very young. And I think for me, I think a lot about what the psychic medium we had on our podcast, Jim Hunt, was saying is that his first experience, he didn't even know it was a spirit that he was seeing. It was just kind of like the man was talking, I guess, without moving his mouth. So,
which sounds scary as
hell. Yeah. So part of me wonders how many things I was experiencing from that point on that I didn't really even know was spooky. But I think that experience opened me up. And my dad had an NDE as well, and he sees really spooky stuff all the time. So there's got to be something to that.
Door open or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lifts
absolutely.
the veil.
Yeah, absolutely. There have been people talking about that. Where you read some stories where people who have had that near-death experience and now they basically see dead people. Like, they'll go to a cemetery and they'll be, wow, there's just like dead people everywhere. And, how freaky would that be, right? How would you like to see walking past a cemetery and just...
I would shut that down. No, that's just my cat.
That's a throwback.
See, nice. Do you have a recent paranormal experience, Kim?
I feel like you should tell about Franny because we're talking about kids and the waving.
Oh my God.
I hear about it.
That was weird.
I have a 2. She's almost 2. I am just waiting for the days that she tells me about all the freaky stuff because I believe kids can see stuff that I can't. Waiting.
Sure. Yeah.
But I've seen something in my house in a particular corner, and it was the first time I feel like I really saw a physical form. And even from a very young age, she would kind of look over into that corner and be very alert into that corner. But I guess recently, and I have to say, this is another reason why I like to record our ghost stories, because I forget them immediately. I think that's part of my brain, like trying to protect me. But we were outside, and what happened, Rachel? She was like looking. We were just going down the slide.
You were just,
yes.
Yeah, and you were just videoing her because she's a small child and you want to have these memories.
Yeah, she was just going down the slide and then very engaged in the slide. And then all of a sudden she just like stood up and walked away toward the house and was saying...
As if she saw someone.
Waving at them, saying, hello. Yeah. And like, she doesn't do that unless there's a person there. But there's very clearly nobody there. No. So that was all on video, and I sent it to Rachel and you were Carly.
Like, who are you waiting?
I was like, I'm home alone and I'm freaked out.
Has she ever had conversations? Kim said to you, hey, I'm talking to the nice man, or I'm talking to the woman, or I'm...
No, she can't really speak yet. Well, she's got her words and strings together, her sentences, but it's mostly when I see her behave toward nothing, the way she behaves toward people is freaky to me. So when she starts waving and saying, oh, hello, I'm like, fine. Go away.
She said it should be interesting when she can start speaking what things are going to come out.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll try to record them.
Yeah, definitely, because that's something it's good and it's a bad experience. It's good if the spirit is friendly. It's bad if the spirit is telling her to do stuff that she shouldn't do, which from time to time you hear stories where
kill mom.
No.
Yeah. Hopefully not that bad. Like maybe take mommy's checkbook or something. I don't know.
Checkbook? John might. I don't know.
John, that's her husband. He would definitely have a checkbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so now they got your husband involved. Like, what are you spending all these things on Amazon? All these toys? What's going on? Yeah. So, Rachel, how about you? Do you remember your first experience? It can be when you're a kid or whenever.
Yeah, I also talked about it on the podcast. I used to live, I'm originally from Ontario, which is the province that Kim is in. My stepdad was in the military and we lived near Kingston, Ontario. That's like kind of the bigger city that was near where we were living. But we lived in a smaller town called Gananoque. And we bought a house, and it was like, I remember as a kid even thinking it was a little bit like dated and creepy. And now as an adult, when I look, when you watch scary movies, like maybe specifically American Horror Story, Murder House, like it had that vibe. There was like a big twisty like staircase. There was like a library in the living room area. Yeah. And I remember there was sort of a strange feeling. I feel like that's the thing that I most pick up on even now as an adult is when I enter like a premonition or a feeling, I can usually tell if there's something paranormal or creepy happening. But I was pretty young, so I probably didn't have the words to describe that or anything. But again, being young, mostly what I have are the stories that I was told. One being that I was in my bedroom, in the closet, there was like engravings and carvings in a different language in the closet, which is very strange and a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
My brother, who's older than me and has a bit more memory of it, I think he said it was Hungarian, but also like weird like images and stuff as well. And I remember I had the worst nightmares that I've ever had in childhood or ever in that house. And I remember having like a fever dream and like having to go downstairs on the couch and everything. But it's more of the creepier things that happened. Like there was a door that would never, ever close, like ever. It couldn't be closed. You close it would pop open, close it, pop open. We went out. I guess the family came back and the door was completely solidly closed. Like, and it defied logic. Like it couldn't be closed. I guess my mom said we would go out and we'd come back and books would just be off of the bookshelves in the library, opened up on the ground. You know, like if these were isolated things, you could be like, oh, well, maybe it was on the edge and it fell down. But it's just like the list of things gets creepier.
Yeah.
And so I guess I was sleeping in that bedroom. And my stepdad got up. I guess maybe he had gone to the bathroom, was about to go to the bathroom, and he had turned on maybe the light in his room.
Okay.
And he could see across to my room and he saw a shadow walking into my room. And pretty creepy. And he, I guess, essentially was like, go away, get out of here. Like, you're not allowed to be here. Yeah. And I guess it went away or whatever. And then this is the piece de resistance. That's French. Icing on, or was it like cherry on the sundae? My brother says that he was sleeping, went to bed like he normally would. And he woke up and he was completely turned around in his bed. So his head was where his feet would be under the blankets.
Okay.
And his feet were where his head would be. And he woke up and he said it was the most terrifying thing that's ever happened. He started like having trouble breathing because he felt like, you know, essentially like he was being suffocated.
Yeah.
And I actually asked him recently again, I'm like, am I misremembering that? And he said, no. He's like, that happened. It didn't make any sense. And it was scary as hell. So I think that's like some of the first memories that I have of really kind of paranormal, scary stuff happening. And luckily we didn't live there that long. Like my stepdad was going back into the military. And so it was like, well, he was in training or basic training before he got posted. We were there. So we were there for a bit, maybe like a year and a half.
Yeah.
But that would be the one
that's unbelievable, because I hear that a lot, you know. Especially, I have a lot of my guests. I can't believe, I would say probably 80% have lived in a haunted house. I'm like, how can you do it? I do not understand it. Right? And they all explain the same.
Now I wouldn't.
Yeah. They all explain the same thing to me. They said, John, it doesn't happen all the time. It's not like you wake up, there's a shadow. There's a wake up, there's an apparition. Wake up, your cupboards are open. There's books on the floor. He goes, it will happen for like 3 months and then nothing. For like 6 months, and then it will happen again. So, you know, they said there's a little bit of a misnomer with that, you know, about people thinking you're in a haunted house, like in the movies, like you wake up every day, demon, flies eating my face, you know, witches. It's like, no, it's like really just sometimes boring stuff. It's like you walk downstairs and the cupboards are open, you know, like, oh, okay. Or like you can't find your car keys. That was another thing. One of my guests told me. She goes, she couldn't find her car keys in the morning. They kept moving. It was a spirit of a little kid, and they were just having fun. So she finally got mad. Like she would yell at her kids and said, "Stop moving my keys. I got to get to work." And then it never happened again.
And it's not always scary stuff. Like sometimes it is. I think I've come to terms with whoever's in my house that, you know, sometimes I get the privilege of interacting with them, and then sometimes I don't. And I feel like it does come in bursts as well. But I haven't quite put my finger on it. If there are physically haunted places or if every place just has something, and sometimes you just kind of tap into it more than others. I'm not sure yet, but I think we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, I think that some people are sensitive to it. Some people who are not, like your daughter or different people talking to mediums I've had on too. They've been like, I was just sensitive at an early age. I could just feel something's in my room, and like 99% of the time it was just something very just nice, like a little kid that just wanted to go home and it was stuck here, just stuff like that. Nothing major. But when it does when they have told me there have been demons in the house or they've gone someplace where there's a demon, they can immediately tell. Like when they walk in, they feel it's heavy. Like there's something wrong here. And, I just like, yeah, that's not for me. No, thank you. And
that happened when I was looking for a house many, many years. And I mean, we went inside, we were looking, and the upstairs was fine. We're just didn't really have any opinion whatsoever. Yeah. But then we go to the basement, and immediately I was like, nope, no, we have to get out of here, because it felt like this oppressive, dark, gross energy. And I'm like, we're not buying this house.
Yeah. And that's really strange. It's just, and there's some laws, I don't know the way it is in Canada, but there are some laws, not in the United States. You do not, in certain states, have disclosed this house is haunted. While in other states, New York, New Jersey, usually on the East Coast, Connecticut, stuff like that, you have to disclose. If someone has said, this house is haunted, or I've had an experience, you have to. But in Wisconsin, you do not. So basically,
that's interesting.
Yeah, you move into a house and there's a bunch of demons. Well, I don't know. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
Yeah, I don't.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure. I've never looked. I actually would like to maybe even for our next recording look into like what the rules are for Canada. I'm not.
Yeah.
That'd be a good
I'm not
one,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I know. Like they have to disclose if something terrible happened, like someone killed, ended their life, or there was a murder or something. Like I'm pretty sure that has to be disclosed for a good reason. But I'm not sure about haunting.
Right. I know there are websites out there you can look if someone's died in the house you're purchasing. And I think it's like deathinyourhouse.com. It's like this. It's something like house. That. It's like really obvious. It's like, right to the point. And they'll tell you I guess they have hospital records or something.
That is so cool.
I don't know what they do, but people have used it before and found that out. So before we get going, I have a question about one of your earlier episodes, Kim and Rachel. Episode 3, and I was listening to it, Kim's Quickies. Rachel nails her psychic test, kind of. Want to explain that? What? I was listening to
Was that the one with is that one?
Here's what you guys said. Rachel nails her psychic test, kind of. Kim reveals how she would take advantage of tragedies in her teenage daydreams, which, okay, that was a little weird. I have to admit that one. And discusses her ghost stories that happen exclusively in bathrooms, which I had to listen to that one. But I want behind the scenes here, like,
So we were really interested in testing. And sometimes at the beginning of episodes, we will do a psychic test to see how psychic we are. That
turns out not very
good. Not very good.
No,
so
not very psychic.
One of us in a picture from Google and the other will like focus on what the other person is sending. Oh, Rachel gives embarrassingly low scores to me.
Oh, come on.
Rude. However, one thing we have discovered is that like, as we're doing it, we never get like the picture. You could have a picture of a monkey and I'd be drawing a beach. Like we never get the picture, but we always get the colors. Like the colors always come through and they're like very spot on. And then sometimes we pick up things that have almost been like, or been on our minds from the day earlier, or like themes like that. And we're like, okay, so who's messing up? Is it the sending person or the receiver? Because there's other stuff getting through. But I think we need to keep going. We need to.
I agree. I think it's only going to get stronger. And just to like people that are listening, like it's not like I say, I see the color blue, because that's just like way too.
Yeah, no.
That's too wide, way too wide. It'll be like, I see like pastel blues and pinks was a good example. I'm not sure if that's the one where I almost nailed it, but, and Kim had like donuts, like pictures of donuts, and the donuts, the icing on the donuts
just like predominant.
Exactly
like
color.
If you look at these two things, the colors are always the same in what we compare. So who knows? Maybe we're psychic.
And what's kind of funny is like, we'll be drawing it for each other, like on the white pad through Zoom, and we'll put those up on our Instagram. And we're not artists. I think anyone who would go and see that would be like, what the hell is
alligator with a hat on?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
So if you're listening to the
I don't even
podcast
think it would be that
episode
clear.
and you want to see what we're actually drawing, you can just go to our Instagram, ghost.i.guess. So ghost, I guess. And it'll be in the episodes. Like you can see what I picked versus what Rachel drew. And then we switch and go back and forth. So you can see. And we need some people to tell us if Rachel is marking me too harshly or not.
Yeah.
Because I think she's not giving me the credit I deserve. I'm just putting that out there.
I don't want, because we've got good work to do today.
Yeah.
But I will say that Kim is referring to one time that her score that she didn't agree with, and she wanted to high score herself higher than she did. It's not like she actually got. She didn't.
Okay.
And so that has been.
I was going to say
a thorn in her paw.
Are we allowed to swear on this? Is this a clean?
Absolutely.
I was going to say this bitch.
Wow. Look out.
That's it. I'm leaving.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, but yeah, like, you know, I'm just of the opinion that unless you're like really, really, really on the mark, you're not going to get top scores.
No.
Great.
Absolutely.
You know, you can't kind of get an answer right on the test and get 10 out of 10. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
That's not how the real world works, Kim.
We're all friends here. So let's keep it friendly. And if you would ask, of course, you have to. That's what I do with my friend. And you know, the funny thing is, if you ask psychics or mediums, whatever you want to say, the first two questions they always get from is, well, topics or whatever you want to say, is their relationship, like love life, you know, the good relationship, and financial questions. And I'm like, how could you get either one right? Like financially, we've all been like, let's say you invest in something, right? Sometimes it doesn't work out and you lose a lot of money. And how would you know unless you're in the room when they're making their mistakes? And you're like, guys, you're screwing this up and I'm losing money. Stop.
And I feel like there's a lot of times you can just make a vague jab and it applies to like a large group of people or whatever. But we have seen a lot where it has been really compellingly specific and close. And I've experienced that in my readings with Jim Hunt. I've been like, this man knows me. But yeah, we're going to get there. By the end of recording, whenever we're done, we're going to be psychics.
We'll be able to quit our day jobs. It won't even be the podcast we're doing anymore. We're going to be mediums. You'll be able to call. We'll do readings.
Reaching out to, because I want to retire anytime now. So if you both can help out, let's go.
Me too.
So before you guys, I start another fight, which I didn't mean to do that. But
there's no guarantee it won't happen.
Okay.
Again.
Well, a little teaser today, ladies. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about haunted Airbnbs. And if you're brave enough to stay in these spooky Airbnbs, they will send shivers down your spine. But here's the thing. Airbnb, the company, does not guarantee you're going to have a paranormal experience. But you may hear bumps in the night, see chandeliers swaying by themselves. And if you're lucky, now this is me saying this, you know, and I know this might sound really weird, but get your feet tickled by a little girl sitting on the edge of your bed while you sleep. Yes. So there you go. Would you like that?
I have to go onto Airbnb and select and filter for experiences.
Yes, you can. And I'm going to show it.
Dead. I am dead. I know what I'm doing with my summer. I'm this. Airbnb has a solid gold star in my books now.
So
I'll be doing
Kim,
that.
I think I put in the links in the email I sent to you and Rachel where you can find these, which I'm going to go through a couple. I'm not going to share this on the screen because sometimes when I share, we have technical difficulties and then I got to start all over. But I would just read these to you, and they will be in the links of this episode too. So you can go on, and Rachel and all my spooky friends, and they're very reasonable. So let's start. Let's just start right away. And then after we're going to do some haunted stories of people who stayed at the Airbnbs and had some crazy, scary encounter. So let's start. Go ahead, Kim.
To say, I know you had sent it ahead, and I purposefully didn't read it because, as I said, I love having a ghost story told to me. So
absolutely,
I'm very excited.
All right, so let's go to the first one here. This is an interesting one. By the way, the article is from Thrillist. 13 haunted vacation rentals for very brave soul. And that, like I said, is the link that I will have in the episode notes. And so you guys can check them out. And they're in the email we can look at later. So the first one is in New York. And this is a mansion filled with spooky charm. Okay, this is perfect for you both. 2 guests, $295 a night. Not too bad. It's a mansion.
Not too bad.
You get a mansion. Okay.
A whole mansion?
This is what it says. $295 a night. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm just going to read this very quickly. I'm just going to hit the high points.
Okay.
So this second floor haunted oasis located in a mansion. I don't know if that means, again, you just get the floor or whatever. I guess you would have to call Airbnb. It is an historic village of Langsberg. And I don't know where that is in New York, but okay. Maybe my spooky friends can tell me. And it's been owned by a family for 6 generations. That's a lot. And here's the good news.
Wow.
The resident ghosts are harmless, but one ghost did claim pranking poltergeist kept hiding her car keys. So one guest said, hey, there's this poltergeist that's hiding my car keys. I think I mentioned that before. That's a big thing for ghosts to do. I don't know why they would know what car keys are, but okay.
Little tricksters.
And it says you'll enjoy this comfortable room with plenty of space to mingle with your friendly host and other guests. Now, here's one where the ghosts say, this is what a guest say who has stayed there. It says, Michelle has an accommodating, because people own this, remember, it's an Airbnb, so you actually have owners. So Michelle must be the owner of this one. It has an accommodating and welcoming space, especially for a haunted house. We didn't get any visit from ghosts, but don't rule it out. The host went out of her way to talk to us about the area and provide us with tips and what to do. And the place was very clean. It was a great host experience. So there you go. So you can go to New York around there and get yourself that.
Where is it in New York?
It says it's in Lansingburg, I believe. I don't know. It says 5 miles from downtown Troy, New York. That's where it is. So you have to Google it, I guess, if you're
I'm doing that right now. Cool.
This is one of my favorites, ladies. This is really funny. Quiet room in a Civil War era farmhouse. Now get this. This is very reasonable. 4 guests, it's only $109 per night. That's very reasonable.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And this one is in Gettysburg. So I don't know if you know your American history, but Gettysburg was the bloodiest battle in American history. Thousands of men died bloody in a battle. It's so haunted. It's crazy. I mean, you go near Gettysburg, and all my paranormal investigator friends, as well as go on YouTube. Oh my God. Everyone catches something at Gettysburg because it's such a tragic place full of death. Energy is just. Now, what it says about this one is the house is haunted, yes, but they're all friendly. So we got another friendly one. They say that the guest said here, I can't imagine staying in Gettysburg area and not staying at Stefani's. I guess this is what this place is. His place. That's the owner. It
sounds like a delicious restaurant. Yeah.
So the true gem, they said in all facets of the world, it's impossible not to feel the history of the era while staying there. the aura is amazing, as is the house. So, there you go. You go to Gettysburg, check that out. Salem. You guys are finished. Salem, which
I want to go there so bad.
So Rachel, I got a place for you, and it says 12 guests, $722 per night. I don't know if you can have a party.
We'll find 12
people. I'm sure you could go.
Yeah,
you and and whoever, Kim or whatever you guys want to do.
Probably Kim.
But this one is a historic house in Salem. It says the Henry Derby House is a charming Victorian home from 1838. It's painted bright yellow with green shutters. Okay, if that's what you like. It is close to downtown Salem. And Salem, yes, they have it's on my bucket list too, Rachel and Kim. It's just unbelievable. I mean, even though the Salem witch trials were some of the worst in history, all these innocent people died. It's amazing.
Yeah.
They just embrace it. They're like, okay, you want to know about it? Here you go. And it's unbelievable, the things you see. It says here that on the third floor that there's been moving objects, tucking people into bed, which is absolutely hilarious.
Oh my God.
And tickling their feet. So people have been tucked into bed.
My goodness.
Can you help me out with this? How would a ghost tuck you into bed? I mean, wouldn't that be really weird? Right?
It would absolutely be weird. Feel like you would, so you're like, okay, I'm going to go to sleep. And you would like turn down the bed and you would like get into it and you'd be drifting off to sleep. And then suddenly there would just be this like bodiless pressure movement tucking you in under your body. Like, and that would actually be terrifying, I think, because you would feel like, am I being mummified? Because like, you would have.
I sleep with my like visor.
Not that I'd want to do that.
And I was waiting for John to come up to bed, and I felt him like sit on the side of the bed, and I was like, "Oh, he's finally in bed, thank God." And then like a long period of time passed where he didn't actually get into bed, and I lifted up my visor, and he was still downstairs working. So I have no idea what sat on the bed next to me, but it was something.
Right.
There's also that ghost that tickled your ribs.
That was children.
Remember, Kim?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. A child?
Well,
did
it sounded like children.
Yeah. Oof. That's no thank you. But you're into tickling your feet.
Yeah,
I bet Rachel loves her feet tickled. Am I right?
Absolutely not.
I do not. Absolutely not.
Right now.
I do not like being tickled. She can't reach them. They're too far away. Right. She's not there yet.
Working on it.
Maybe she could tickle one foot. Yeah.
You'll definitely get it. The other thing about this place, it's right close to downtown shops. It just says, you're near the center of Salem. You can go down. There's ghost cats around the place too. I forgot that. I'm sorry.
Cool.
So, you said the cats. There's a bunch of ghost cats, I guess, that hang out at this place that you could check out. This is my favorite, and I showed it to my wife, and she goes, "Of course, it's your favorite." Former brothel that was haunted by a miner, and not a minor as in minor with
a coal miner. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is this is expensive. I don't know why they do this. This is in Victor, Colorado. I have a buddy.
Because sex sells,
yes,
John.
It does. And my favorite story that one of my guests told me was that in her town in Montana, there was a brothel and all the wives got mad that the husbands were going there. So they burned it to the ground. But they told
perfectly reasonable.
But they were nice. They told the women to leave first.
Oh, that's
very told the women.
Okay.
Generous.
They don't have their livelihood is gone.
Yeah.
But
well, that's what you get, I guess.
That's it.
I just think that's a hilarious story. 16 guests, it says here, for the brothel, $1,100 per night. Okay.
That's for like a bachelor party. They're just trying to attract. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a good 100%. Sell to your buddies if you want to get all your buddies together.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a Victoria era building that was a brothel. casino, and a saloon. Then it is haunted by a ghost of a miner who died in a gunfight. Of course he is. It is the Black Monarch, which is placed, this is called, has its original ornate solid oak doors, bay windows, hardwood floors, stairs, and
sounds beautiful.
Ceilings. Yeah, check it out. It's very beautiful.
I'd like to take a blue light in there and just kind of like in the walls.
Now you ruined it. Now I'm not going in there.
That's ectoplasm.
That's ectoplasm. Got it. That's what I'll tell myself.
You have like a bingo card. You cross off ectoplasm.
Bingo. Yeah. The corner. It's full of furniture that feels like it belongs in a brothel. I don't know what that means. Ladies, explain what furniture is supposed to look like in a brothel.
So it's crusty.
Crusty.
Yeah, that's dirty. It's definitely
burgundy.
Like. Oh, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. One of the what do you sit on? The cushion. One of the cushions probably has some stuffing pulled, I would say.
Yeah.
Definitely, like you can tell that lots of people have lied on it. Mm-hmm. It's like got the indents. That's what I think.
How about a little black velvet? Did they have black velvet back then? I don't know. But
some sort of velvet velour, some sort of, a lot of wear on the carpets leading down to the rooms. I'm picturing a secret back room with a pole.
Yeah, the wall. There would be into a sex dungeon.
Nice.
Yes.
And then it's got one of those pictures of like a voluptuous woman with a negligee, but you can kind of see everything.
Yeah,
nice. Even though she's covered, but you get you get it, right? She's not covering anything.
That's exactly a picture like that for my house.
Get that done. So here's a common complaint, Rachel and Kim. You are awakened in the middle of the night by a man and a woman carousing, and that is their word, on the main floor. In other words, having sex.
The big bucks for. That's why you're paying $11.99. We figured it out.
Yeah, but like, how does?
Yeah, isn't that what par for the course? You're in a brothel, a haunted brothel.
Why are they on the floor?
Like,
why not? Open your heart.
Maybe they're very polite ghosts, and they don't want her there, so they just go downstairs to have their sexual relations, fornications, if you will. They're carouseling. But I guess they get it gets a little rowdy, a little bit loud if they can hear it.
Yeah. So here's something I think is absolutely hilarious. I've never heard of this. If you've heard of this, please let me know and where this is. So I want to check it out. The Black Monarch. This is what a guest said. The Black Monarch is probably the most unique place I've ever stayed. In fact, our bed was a Ouija board.
I wouldn't sleep on that.
Why not?
No, that's just asking for trouble.
I'm trying to visualize. So it's like a Ouija board the size of a bed.
I have a Ouija board right here. So just imagine.
So it's probably like.
Yeah.
So this could be the pillow?
Sure. Let's go with that. You move your wife, your partner.
Interesting.
Your brothel woman. I don't know.
Will I get lucky tonight?
Will I get lucky? The answer. Hey.
It doesn't. Oh, there it is. There we go.
Oh, there we go. So there you go. I've never heard of that. Have you?
No.
A bed.
That's got to be a first and an only.
Right?
That's got to be a first and only.
It's kitschy. That's why I think people would like it. They'd be like, I'm going to sleep on the Ouija board. Like draws people in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
No, I'd sleep on the floor and do. That's why the ghosts are doing it on the floor because
I'm sorry, you sleep on the floor and.
Well, no, I'm saying.
Is that what you're saying?
That's why the ghosts are doing it on the floor because they don't want to mess with the Ouija bed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I love that because it's just like, wow, somebody came up with that. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody had the thought. Somebody had to be who owned the place. Go, you know what? You know what we need, Rachel and Kim? I'm going to pretend I'm the owner of the house. You know what we need, Rachel and Kim? A bed shaped like a Ouija board. What do you think?
That's going to sell. That's going to get all the bookings.
See?
I think I would get on side. I'd be like, if my goal here is to make money, Slam dunk idea.
Absolutely.
That's what I would say.
So the next one is a home owned by a paranormal researcher. And it's, this is kind of interesting. It's 6 guests, up to 6 guests for $233 per night. It is in Oberlin, Ohio. So not really near me, but it kind of. So this 150-year-old home has been featured on ghost hunting shows like Paranormal State. I don't know if you're familiar with that show, big in the States. And Portals to Hell. It is owned by a paranormal researcher who promises that the ghostly residents are friendly, and exploring the outer worldly is of interest to you, then you will want to spend time in the display room on the first floor. Part museum, part training ground. It's designed to help people get familiar with tools, theories, and approaches of paranormal investigation. So although the house is haunted, it is also meant to be relaxing with opportunities to connect with both your travel buddies and spirits. Practice decks of, there you go, psychic reading cards are provided. So then both you and Kim could just be like, go there, learn how to train to be a psychic and a paranormal investigator, and just hang out.
It's only 4 hours away from me. So
here's the thing. I haven't seen the TV show Portals from Hell, though I believe I've heard it. I just haven't watched it. But where I'm a little bit lost is they're saying that the ghosts at this place are friendly, but they were on the show Portals from Hell. So I'm just a little bit mistrusting of what we'll actually experience there. Like, is the person who owns it, this parentheses paranormal expert, is this a person that's working in people like a conveyor belt, and then they're getting sucked down into the portals of hell, and like, oh yeah, the ghosts are
Rachel,
friendly.
that would make a good
Just
movie script.
Down.
I'll start writing.
Oh my god.
Open on scary minutes. I just I don't get it. And they say they're friendly, so I guess like a training, like what, you go into a room and there's like all this equipment, and you go like, okay, I'm gonna walk around the house with this equipment, and I don't know.
They're like, here's our upside down crucifixes,
holy water.
You might meanwhile be only playing spooky sounds through the HVAC system, and
now this I think is perfect for all of us. I think we should get our families together and do this. This one is a 160-year-old mansion with at least 3 ghosts. It is in Allen City, Maryland. No, I don't know. I probably mush-mouth that one. I'll have people from Maryland yell at me. It's not Ellicott. Okay. This 19th century Gothic castle has 20 rooms. That's plenty. A 4-story tower. Oh, I love it. Amazing views, a marble fireplaces. I could just sit around with my smoking jacket, my pipe, and a little brandy, and be like, hello, ladies.
Yeah.
A swimming pool, and the ghost of at least 2 children and an older man who brings with him an aroma of cigar smoke.
Oh, yeah. That does sound nice.
It said,
I was worried it was going to be much worse than cigar.
So that's not here, bad. I'm trying to read some more here. So this is Henry Richard Hazelhurst. Well, that fancy name. Hello, Mr. Hazelhurst, who made a fortune in the iron trade during the Civil War and died inside the mansion in 1900. Are the children several who died in the house? Okay. Perhaps as the story goes, all was well until the mansion suffered great loss during a fire, and the new owner rebuilt it in a very different style. As we know, you do not upset ghosts. You got to keep things the way they are. You can't put in new, I'm sorry, Rachel and Kim, you can't paint the house, to your color, or put in new hardwood floors. You got to do it exactly the way the house was. His ghost is said to make itself known through loud footsteps, thank you, windows that won't budge, okay, swinging chandeliers, but hey, guess what? We can go dancing because there's a gorgeous mansion. It's a gorgeous mansion with a ballroom and a pool. It's totally worth it, right? So there you go.
Yeah. I wonder how much these chandeliers are swaying. Like, is it just a strong wind, or is it like?
Or...
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Would you like to stay in a mansion? What do you think?
I've already booked all of these places.
Yeah.
While you were talking, my summer plan's made.
I'm going to do one more, unless you had something about the mansion. Anything about the mansion other than loud footsteps and children tickling your feet, I guess, and I don't know.
I think the only comment I had was that they had 2 of many children passed away, and I was just going to say that back then you had to have a lot of children because it was very likely that you were going to lose 1 or 2 of them.
And I feel like children ghosts are little pranksters.
Yeah.
So that would be a place to go and see if you could really engage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And keep your keys close.
So, yes, keep an extra set of car keys on you. That's, I guess, probably the best thing. So this one I thought was the most spookiest. I don't know if that's true, but you guys give me your opinion. This is an old schoolhouse in the middle of a cemetery. It's right in the middle of a cemetery. It's in Hudson, New York. 2 guests, $1.89 per night, so not too bad. This 1900 building is a schoolhouse turned tool factory, turned artist studio, turned Airbnb. So it's been turned a lot. It's located inside of the Cedar Park Cemetery, which is home to thousands of burial plots and has all sorts of notable people resting in peace. This building has several lofts. This one is Chinese inspired, meaning you'll sleep in an authentic 18th century opium wedding bed. I didn't know they made those. Not creepy enough for you? Think about it this way. If no one is renting out the 5 other spaces, you'll be the only living soul for miles. So what do you think? That's spooky enough for you? Opium wedding bed?
I just want to, did you say it's a
2 guests, $1.89 per night?
$1?
No, 89. Everyone's rushing who's going to listen to this.
I will be moving to Hudson, New York, because
Airbnb,
that is a good quality of life.
Who told you that?
So one thing about me, which, if people take to our podcast and they listen, they'll know I am a scaredy cat, and I don't as far to the one side that Kim is about how she's got her whole summer plan. She's going to go here. She's going to go there. I'm like, I would like to avoid those places at all costs. It's too spooky, especially when you say in this instance that you're the only one there. You're going to die. You're going to die there.
No, you're just going to want to.
I don't want to. Okay.
But you will want to.
Well, then I'll go. Ooh, that's like the caption on the movie poster.
Kim is going to stay there, right, Kim?
I guess alone, because my ghost podcast partner is a scaredy cat.
Wimp.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You could probably get me to go.
Yeah.
If
you're
there
recording,
me, then I would do it.
Some voices.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah.
If you 2 do that, I definitely would love to have you back on sometime. But if you do that, please come back on the show and
Wouldn't it be lovely to do our tour? Yeah.
We'll even have audio clips. We'll have little audio clips that you can play. You'd be like, so this is when you got the shit scared out of you. You're like, it'll be good.
This is where we saw the shadow person almost, crush our heads with a book or something. I don't know. Yeah.
And what you're hearing now is actually
some reason all the guests check out early at 4 a.m. because they just can't handle it.
I bet that's true.
No.
It doesn't say it in here, but anyway, like I said, there's a whole mess of other sites you can go and visit. If you go on the Airbnb site, you can mark haunted or strange or something it's something in there you can mark, and it will come up with this. there's a whole mess. If you go international, it's crazy. They have castles. They have just these little manor houses in the middle of nowhere. And I didn't bring that up because that we would go on and on and on. But it insane. Like I was this manor house in Ireland, which you're literally in the middle of nowhere. Like it's like that, tagline for most movies. No one can hear you scream. Literally no one can hear you scream in that play. It's over.
I would love
if something would happen to you, they would find you like white, scared of fright, Yeah. So I don't want to go out that way. I don't know about you guys. No thanks.
What's very interesting about that tagline specifically, that's from Alien, and it's in space, no one can hear you scream. And literally the last podcast we recorded, that came up. So it's very interesting. You must be locked into us.
There we go.
Psychically.
Yeah.
I love it.
The connection has been made, and they're weird.
They can be like, I wonder what I did with my shoes. Wait a minute, why did I get in there?
Yeah. I wish it was, and yet it's a place.
Let me start out into some other weird stuff. We'll graduate to that level. So how about we do a couple spooky stories, ladies? How's that sound? From Airbnb people. So
sounds great.
Here's some scary Airbnb stories. This one's from Laura, 2592. She's a level 10. I have no idea what that means. This one's in Frederick, Maryland. Okay, so I stayed in the Airbnb that was an old farmhouse. It was on a secluded road, and we were there in October. Boy, we're already starting off really good here. There was a chill in the air. She writes pretty well. This is pretty good. And the evenings were quiet, early dark. That makes them a little extra spooky. We arrived around 9 p.m. The host left lights on inside, so it looked inviting and was easy to spot as we arrived with our dog in tow. As soon as we got in the door, I thought, the lights are on because there is someone still here. It was sort of a feeling. I thought it might be a cleaner or someone working late. My husband called out, "Hello, anyone there?" Before I even said anything, so I knew he felt the same way. The dog, who's a great traveler, normally was super cautious, hanging back. We explored the house, and it was clear there was no one there, but we both, and I would venture to say the dog as well, felt as someone was in the house. After watching some movies, we settled in. I picked one bedroom, but then changed my mind as it was cold. We set up the dog's little bed in the corner, but we had a hard time getting him to lie down. He was anxious, kept wanting to go outside and sniff around the house, but only if we went with him. Odd. Finally, we went all to sleep around 2:30 or 3 a.m. That's when my ghosts come. We should all know that. I wake up.
That's the haunting hour.
Yes. I wake up to a light going on in the closet. The light was a pull string, so I was very confused. The dog is going nuts and barking and cornering something under the bed. I think, ugh. Is there a rat or something that pulled? How's a rat pulled the chain? Okay. And ran under the bed. But there is nothing. The dog won't let up. We get out our phones and crawl under the bed. Nada. We look all over the house. Nothing. Eventually, we fall back to sleep, but the dog keeps growling softly from time to time, which is not like him. The next morning, we discuss everything, and my husband says, "I thought I saw you in the closet when the light was on, but then realized you were asleep next to me." That's when all the hair stood up on my back and neck, and I contacted the hostess, hesitantly asked if they had heard anything like this from other guests. The host totally denied it, and I felt like a weirdo for asking, but something was up there for sure. So I just started talking out loud to what I felt was a lady ghost. I am not a believer per se, but the whole thing was just too bizarre to ignore. I said how much we liked her house and we are happy to stay there. So she's talking to the ghost. Lady Ghost, please don't scare my dog and please don't wake us up if you can help it. We would be leaving the next day and we appreciated that she had such a beautiful home. My skeptic husband heard me and said, are you talking to the ghost? I think I should. I am freaked out and the dog won't leave my side. After that, it was like the energy in the house was less oppressive. We still felt like someone was there with us, but it was somehow easier. The dog was back to his old self and went running around in the yard. He stopped talking to us. At no time did we feel threatened in the place, but it was clear that there was something there with us. I did not mention the experience in the review. I think the host was probably nonplussed that I asked her about anything off kilter in the first place. We own an old house too, and I would think a guest was trying to get a freebie if they said we had a ghost. So to this day, I don't know if it was just us, but I would love to stay again and see if we have the same experience. So there you go. Some lady in the house, and she was like, hey, we're cool and everything. Is that what you guys would have done if you felt someone was in the house with you?
Yes. So this is one of two things. Or this is the owner frogging. Do we know what frogging is?
Oh.
Okay. It's a term used to describe when someone is secretly living in the house.
Oh, like
yeah.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
And
Which
like
is
true crime
like
stuff.
scarier than ghosts. Frogging is scarier than ghosts.
Yeah.
But like I totally believe this. This is so credible to me.
Yeah. Rachel?
Yeah. Because the husband saw something, but she was right next to him. Yeah. And the dog. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the light being turned on, I don't like that.
Really?
That bothers me quite a bit.
No.
I would leave.
I
would
wouldn't
leave
speak to the ghost first and say, like, come on.
Actually, you know what? I probably would. Yes. At this point, I think having done the podcast with you for a bit, I'm a little less chicken shit. So I might say, hey, like I recognize it feels like there's an energy here, and it is, probably to what she said, is scaring me, and we can coexist peacefully. So please stop. But if it escalated,
I would be like, could you please
I'm a scaredy cat.
Rachel's feet while she's sleeping? And then I would go to sleep. Totally fine. Yeah,
so rude.
I would.
She's your friend, Rachel?
Would. Mm-hmm. Maybe not after today. Just saying.
So this one's a pretty good one. All right. So this one is from Ruth413. She's another level 10. Again, I have no idea what that means. Morton, United Kingdom. So this is, probably be interesting since, like I said, they have a whole bunch of them over there. So occasionally we get asked if our place has guests. And this must be from, I'm guessing, a owner. My answer is that you're part of the cottage. No, but our part, which is the oldest part. Possibly. I don't know what she's saying there, but okay. So my daughters swear that our guest bedroom has a full-time guest. They are not that happy to sleep in there. And when one did, she swears she got woken up in the night by a feeling of someone getting onto the bed and laying next to her. I would have spent the rest of the night on the settee. I think that means like porch or like they're downstairs or something.
A little shed.
I think it's like some sort of piece of furniture.
Yeah. All right.
Like a chaise lounge kind of
house where shadows pass by the doors and no one was there. Okay. Or the dog, here we go with the dogs, would just stare in the corner, but wag his tail, not bark. Right? It wasn't until my friend's young daughter, who has autism, interesting, went into the bathroom and started talking to someone who we couldn't see. I started to get a bit freaked out. When questioned, she said she was talking to the man in the bath. We knew the previous owners and quietly asked a few questions about the layout of the house beforehand, while not mentioning the man in the bath situation. And it turned out that in the bathroom used to be the bedroom of her uncle who died in World War I.
Oh.
His bed was where the bath was now. Can I get that? I must admit, I nearly relaxed in that bath again. So the bathtub is where the bed is. Okay. He was called Will, this gentleman. And whenever we saw or felt anything again, we just said hi to Will and carried on. Okay. It will be hard to get out of my head. Such an experience is not easy to process. 2 weeks ago, we've been to Cannes, France. I like to say it that way, and rented a villa in the fancy hills of Super Cannes. It was their long weekend, and any accommodations were hard to find, not to mention the prices. The villa we got was slightly cheaper, very old, smelly property, too big for our family of 4. The first step in was a shocking feeling of something was there. Not one, but lots of being not friendly. In one of the rooms, closet on the top shelf was pushed back an urn. Okay, they had an urn in there. I don't know why. There was more strange items. The old furniture, including many doors in the mansion, were locked via the sign private. The place was very quiet. The walls were soft on touch like a sponge covered with very old fabric that looks like 200 years old in a 200-year-old lady's dress. It felt like there would be something behind it. My daughter told me, Mom, would it be okay just to try to sleep before they come out? Every one of us felt strange. I couldn't stay alone for a second in this place. All windows had iron bars. It was also pitch black when the lights were off. And when I was trying to sleep, but I guess the house was already woke up, started to make noises that weren't there since afternoon. Each time my heavy eyes were closing, I felt the gentle pulling of my long hair, little by little. It was morning. Yay, we survived. The feeling of the house wasn't any different today, except I was more brave. There you go, Rachel. Maybe even too brave as the door suddenly slammed open in the dining room, leading to a pool area and few levels of stone patio. It was noon, and it scared me and my 14-year-old daughter. But it could just be the wind. So I said out loud, what do you want here? We are here now. In no time, huge bang right next to us out of nowhere. We both jumped up a few inches, trying to back up slowly from the area. I started more pleasing. We are just here for 2 nights. It's your place. Please let us stay. That night, we stayed outdoors by the pool as long as we could. That night was more friendly, but still couldn't wait to leave this property. When checking out in the morning, the electric gate that worked fine all the time broke. We can't leave. There's power, but no power in the gate. After an hour on the phone with the property manager, there was no way to leave. Eventually, my handy husband unscrewed some parts under the gate, and we quickly left. Experience of a lifetime, incomparable feel. I'm still trying to wash away the smell of this place from my good travel clothes. Gotcha. I don't know what that means, but okay. So there you go.
I like that
This is
she's
a wealthy
good
woman.
travel clothes.
Yeah.
This is a wealthy woman. Yeah.
No.
She's probably
Yeah.
never experienced something
So did
like
you
this
like
before.
the wallpaper?
That
Mhm.
was disturbing. Like, cause what could it, what do you guys think it was? Like,
Just
how?
lots of
Satin?
damp.
What was happening
I found
there?
it most weird that the sage, like, they know something's up.
Yeah.
Is sage usual for cleansing and that's the world?
Maybe.
Or,
Yeah.
That's universal, right? Like in terms of, I feel really bad for the ghost man who's just like in his afterlife, he just wants to rest in his bed. That's all he wants. And his bed is now a bathtub. It's probably very uncomfortable. And then people come in, there's a little child bothering him. And I just feel bad for that guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He's the
How would you
real
like to be in your
here.
bed and then all of a sudden someone throws water on you and just starts cleaning themselves?
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's all of a sudden a person lying on top of you and you're like, I did not consent to this. It wouldn't be good.
I'm just thinking about my good travel clothes and if they still fit.
So that was some of the Airbnbs, and there's some other scary stories out there. Some of them you can read. They're a little. I wanted to keep these because I thought they were kind of fun. Some are like, I saw a demon in the closet. I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that was true, then the owners would have to be like, there's no demon in the closet. Right?
Demon in our closet.
Like, there's a demon in the closet. That's insane. So there you go. You guys have your travel plans, staying at an old school house in the middle of a cemetery, right?
Yes. I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
This has opened up a whole new world for me.
Yes, absolutely. So wrap up. What do you guys have coming up here? Any planned episodes or some fun episodes you guys are thinking about?
Yeah, we just recorded one about old hags. Where I'm from, they're called old hags, but it's sleep paralysis. Don't know if you've ever had one of those. So we just are going to get that one all edited and thrown out there. And then we're going to have...
I had done a New Orleans episode. And part of like kind of tucked in along that was a whole bunch about voodoo. So I would really, really like to do, it would have been too much to put them together. So I'm hoping to do some, and then we'll have an episode on voodoo.
We're going to probably do a blitz and see what kind of stuff we can figure out and put out there over the next little bit. So we've got some planning sessions coming up as well.
Nice. Well, I had a blast. I hope you had fun too.
So much fun. Thank you so much.
Is fun.
We did. I actually have one quick little thing to tell you. So you had given us some questions ahead of time and I was looking them over and I have scary stories that I'd remembered growing up. And I tried calling my mom actually right beforehand because I had a vague memory of something, but I wanted to get her to retell it for me so I could actually have something of value to share. I couldn't get a hold of her, but she texted me while we were recording. And so this is, again, not in North America. This was in England. My family is, like my extended family, I should say, is from Liverpool, where the Beatles are from. No big deal. So they had this house that I actually did stay in because I visited once in high school. And it was a big house. It was a family house. So they had like generations of people living there at one point. And so it was called the Newsom House. And I was told growing up, like I heard the story many times, though I couldn't remember it. And it was a haunted house. And my mom says the one thing I can tell you is that her grandmother, who would be my great grandmother, the family had gone to church, and as I remember, she had to come back. She came back early, so it was just her, and she, I guess, was going to be making lunch for everyone, so that's why she had headed back early. The rest of the family stayed at church, and when she got to the door, she realized that she had forgot the key, and so she knocked. I'm not really sure why, maybe she thought someone would be in there or not, but when she knocked, she saw the curtain as if they were opening up. And the door was unlocked. And when there was nobody in the house.
Okay, is the Newsom house on Airbnb or no?
So the key, I'm not sure. I know they sold it.
Mm.
They sold it probably like a decade ago. So it's not in the family anymore, unfortunately. But I did stay there, and I could see, I didn't have any weird experiences, but I could see the vibe. It didn't shock me to find a place that was haunted.
Well,
so I just wanted to share it because I was going to share it earlier, and I got the information.
That would give me nightmares tonight. Thank you for that.
Yep. Never lose your don't forget your keys, and definitely don't go home when no one's home.
So
just
now
make sure
you're
never alone. Yeah,
I got frogs in my house. Damn, what do I do? There I go.
You shouldn't have left the door open.
Oh, so much fun! This was awesome. And like I said, you guys are definitely invited back on, especially Kim, if you can get Rachel to the schoolhouse in the middle of the cemetery. Like I said, let's figure that out. Let's make that happen, because that's just gonna be fun. That's just good old fun.
We will definitely report back.
All right, so we end every episode. You might have a ghost. So hello, ghost. You might have a ghost.
Where you guys at? Hey, ghost.
And the then we say, well, now they're gonna tick your feet tonight.
But it's a little back.
I hope you like that.
Probably. We've had a couple thumps here and there, and I'm like, I think that all of this talking of I've invited something
Absolutely.
in.
I can tell you that for a fact. When I've done research, I've felt things like outside my door. And I'm like, something weird outside my door. When I've been researching shadow people and stuff, I'm like, not opening that door. Then we say, stay spooky. Thank you, Rachel and Kim. This is awesome. Please check them out with Kim and Rachel and their podcast, Ghost, I guess. And check out their new episode. So thank you so much. I love you both. And we'll talk later.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thanks again, John. Bye.